season 4, I've got him doing drag in a gay club in Sydney, dressed as the Queen.
It'd be a shame to have you in here and not speak about your dad.
Oh, yes.
What a legend that man is.
When we tweeted about you, 90% of the replies are about your dad.
He's the only thing that gets hits on my YouTube page now. I
Does that-
have to do a video with my dad.
Does that annoy you a bit?
It does. It never did. And
He
now it
has compilation videos on YouTube. You can search his name and you'll just find his best bits
I know.
all over
Really?
YouTube. Yeah, it's like he's a football star.
People come up to me and they just there's a lot of that now, like which it used to always be. Oh, what's Flintoff like? What's that Corden like? And now it's always, where's your dad? Oh, your dad's funnier than you. Although today I had a new one. This sounds like a comedian coming up with a today this happened. This actually happened this morning. I was walking outside my house and there were some builders on the other side of the road. And he went, Whitehall, mate, what would you be if you weren't a famous comedian? And I went, what? And he went, a virgin. Punching, mate. And there's people outside in cafes, everyone's looking at me. And he was like, come here, this is my mate Steve. He's fucking funny. No one will go near him with a barge pole.
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
wow, I'm literally getting roasted by an entire
That seems very
building site.
unnecessary.
It's really unnecessary.
Wow. That's also just a recycle Peter Crouch tweet.
It
that
is a Peter Crouch tweet.
Yeah. So fuck him. Fuck that
I
builder.
walked away and shouted, I've got a big willy, which I thought was a sort
Did you
of...
actually?
Yeah, which I thought was quite... I know. It was poor. It was bad interaction. I should have just done the cheerleader dance. That would have been less humiliating than shouting, I've got a big willy. I just it's not just because of fame or my wit. I have a very big willy.
I also like that you said willy.
Yeah, I know. Well, because there were people around and I didn't want to be obscene. I was like, he started it. I should have
shouted
been worried
willy.
about obscene.
You go back to your dad. It's hard to go from your
Big Willy
from
to your
I
penis
really hope they don't listen to the podcast because they're going to be outside every day now.
You travel with your dad for your show. Jack Whitehall's Travels with My Father. What's been the standout moment from all the series?
What would be the standout? Well, I mean, from the current season that's about to launch. I mean, in terms of where we started with what he was willing to do when we started, which was not a lot, because he was very reticent to do the show in the first place. And
Was he really?
Yeah, I think he was worried. He'd never traveled before. He really does not like being abroad and being away from home for a long period of time. And he's quite, he is, as he comes across on that show, he's quite stuck up and he's quite set in his ways about a lot of things. And he's not, he's not very adventurous.
Right. That's
Which
what
is-
makes the dynamic perfect then. Yeah.
And so in the first one, getting him to even get onto a boat because he can't swim, he hates water, he hates the sea. We got onto a kayak, and even getting him into the kayak was days of trying to convince him that it would be fine. I was like, it's such shallow water, you're going to be so safe. We're literally paddling in a little kayak right next to the beach. I'll help you in, help you out. He was like, what footwear do I need to be wearing if I'm getting into the boat? I was like, it doesn't matter. You could wear no shoe. It's do not be worried about it. And he was like, will I still be able to wear my jacket? Because I don't like being seen on camera without a jacket. And it might be quite hot. I was like, you're mental. But we managed to get him into this boat and we filmed this bit. So that's season 1. Season 4, I've got him doing drag in a gay club in Sydney, dressed as the Queen.
What?
Literally in full drag makeup as Queen Elizabeth with the wig and a handbag coming out, chucking glitter onto the crowd.
Wow.
And I'm like, how far we have come in 4 weeks from the man that would not get into a boat to a man that is now in high-heeled shoes.
That's
living
amazing.
his best life.
You've worn him down over the years.
Yeah,
That's what you've done. It comes across. Obviously, it's an on-screen relationship,
Yeah.
that you irritate each other a bit.
Yeah.
Does he actually get on your nerves?
Yeah, no, he does. And we film for quite a long period of time. So, being away with anyone in such close proximity for a long period of time, there's obviously going to be moments where you push each other's buttons. And certainly on occasion, he can be quite infuriating. There was one when we went to Cambodia. And he'd been on a long haul flight, so he had back pain. And the production team suggested that he get a massage to help him with his back. So they organised a masseuse to come round to the hotel. And my dad took me aside and he was like, I am not having a masseuse in my hotel room unless you're there. And I went, what do you mean unless I'm there? It's like, I've heard the stories about what goes on in this part of the world. And I don't want her getting any ideas and trying any funny business with me. I was like, I am certain if you make that clear, she's not going to try. She's going to be able to resist the temptation to start giving you a happy ending. But he would not. He said, I will not do it unless you sit in the room. So I had to sit in the room and watch my dad get a fucking back massage from this masseuse in this hotel in Cambodia. She didn't know what was going on. She was like, is this some weird thing that he's getting off on, like watching this massage? Like,
I love that so
weird.
much. Did you realise when you first started working with him just how much of a hit he would be with the fans?
I don't know. Like again, it was like one of those things where like, a lot of these things that I end up doing, it sort of started organically from nowhere. I did jokes about him on stage. I felt like I'd exhausted that avenue. I was like, I can't tell any more jokes about my dad. I'm going up to the Edinburgh Festival. I'm going to be there for a week. He's coming up to watch me. Why don't I bring him up on stage and do something with him?
Yeah.
And we did this like chat show at the festival, talking to people who were doing shows at the Fringe. He sat in an armchair, slagged everyone off, told me I was a terrible interviewer. People loved it. That was all it was ever going to be. But it was the festival. There's lots of people up there. There was a guy in the audience from the BBC. He was like, I'd like to give you a show. I was like, I really don't. This is not the direction that I don't want to be a chat show. I've never had any interest in it. He has no interest in being on screen. And then they wore us down. And eventually we were like, okay, we'll do a pilot. We did the pilot. People like the pilot. Like 3 seasons later.
What was that called?
It's called Back Chat.
Yeah, I remember that.
We had KSI.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
That was a really funny episode, trying to explain to my dad what YouTube was.
Has he got a better idea now?
Well, he's a YouTube star now.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
what I quite like about your relationship with your dad is that you get a lot of comedians tell these kind of jokes about their family, but you never actually get to see whether it's like that. And he is exactly as you describe. And he's so quick-witted as well, which I don't think you'd expect so much of. But yeah, honestly, just watch the compilation videos of him just making all these jokes. It's brilliant.
Is he a bit of a comedian? Has he got a background in comedy?
No, he's never a comedian. He's always been funny, and it was always, when I was growing up, like I wanted to be a comedian. I think because I watched him entertain people, and he was always, the funniest person in the room, but never professionally. He'd never done anything on stage.
Wow.
And so it's very bizarre. He's also one, by the way, talking about earlier, the amount of jokes now that I cut from Netflix specials, the amount of material on the editing floor of his. That
bet.
I mean, not even just get cancelled, have him have to leave the country and go into hiding maybe in some Buffy.
And he doesn't want to leave the
country. What's Winston about?
Oh, mate, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. It's so depressing. He has 147,000 Instagram followers.
Fuck off.
Yes, he does. My mum and my cousin run a Winston page. She brings him everywhere. It's so weird. My best friend, Ollie, who I was the best man at his wedding, had to call me up before he got married and have a conversation with me where he said, will you just promise me one thing? I was like, yeah, mate, anything. You're my best mate and I'm your best man at the wedding. I'm like so excited for this. Well, what do you want? He went, can you call your mum and tell her not to bring Winston to my wedding? Because I don't want the day to be about Winston. I want it to be about my wife.
Wow.
That's how mad she got. Winston came everywhere.
So but not to the wedding in the end?
No, not to the wedding.
So
he stayed in the car.
Am I right in thinking it's a good luck doll?
It's in Thailand. Yeah, I probably should have given some context to what Winston is. No one has a clue. They're these Luk Thep dolls, which are good luck dolls that get given to people when they're traveling. Originally they were made with like. Oh my God, is Winston here? He's alive. He's sentient now. Yeah, they make them with like real human hair and they're freaky as hell, and you get given them and you take them around when you're traveling and they give you good luck. But we've had it for like 4 seasons, so we've taken it all around the world. My parents became obsessed with it. They put it in my old like children's clothes, like old baby clothes of mine.
Mate, I couldn't wake up and see that in the night.
It does look like it could murder you.
It does. It really is like the Chucky doll. My dad got a little suit cut when we were in Thailand.
God.
I had the suit made for him.
You had a suit made for the doll.
He's in little shoes, look.
He got her just suit made, so they had matching suits. So they looked like Arnie and Danny DeVito and twins.
That was when I told my partner Fiona that you were coming on. That was the only thing she wanted to know about. She was
Winston.
like, "Can you ask him how often they wash the clothes?" So why do you want to know that? I don't get it.
I've had to take that doll through customs in a bag. Yeah.
How did that go?
Oh, you get some very strange.
I would love to be a fly on the wall.
On the computer, and then all of a sudden he's like, "What the hell is that?" It would be a great way to actually smuggle drugs if you just had them in the next bag. Because they'd be so focused.
Yeah.
Why a grown man is taking a baby doll.
That's amazing.